showdown on Capitol Hill, where Democrats have kept the Senate open all through the night in their bid to block President Trump's pick for Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Our congressional correspondent Mary Bruce is there. And Mary, I want to get to that vote on DeVos that's coming later today, but there's also breaking news about Trump's pick for Labor Secretary. He admitted to employing an undocumented immigrant.
Yeah, George, this is the kind of thing that's derailed nominees in the past. Andrew Puzder, Trump's pick for Labor Secretary, admitting he employed an undocumented worker for years. Now, he says he immediately ended his housekeeper's employment when he learned she was not documented to work in the U.S. and that he's paid all the necessary back taxes. But Puzder is already under fire for criticizing worker protections, and his confirmation hearing has been rescheduled several times. Perhaps a sign his nomination could be in trouble.
Democrats trying hard to stop Betsy DeVos, but that vote is coming later today. She's likely to get through?
Yeah, George, what we've seen here is a 24-hour marathon Hail Mary. Democrats making a last-ditch attempt to try and block Betsy DeVos. They've been here on the Senate floor talking all night long, voicing their concerns about her lack of experience. They're hoping to convince just one more Republican to oppose her. That's all it would take to sink her confirmation, but it does not appear to be working. And this morning, DeVos is still headed for confirmation.
Yeah, and if they don't find that other Republican, then the vice president's going to be called in. This is something that's never happened before.
This is something we've never seen before, George. The Vice President, Mike Pence, is likely headed here to the Capitol later today. He'll have to use his power as the tie-breaking vote to push DeVos over the finish line. The first time a vice president used that power to confirm a cabinet nominee.
Okay, Mary.
A Fox News alert and a big story here. New satellite images obtained exclusively by Fox News show Iran has been preparing a new missile for launch. Now that missile has been removed from the launch pad, raising new questions about Iran's intent and also the timing here. Our national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is live with this exclusive reporting at the Pentagon. Jennifer?
Hi, Jenna. Well, there's been a flurry of activity on an Iranian launch pad that U.S. officials have been watching closely since Iran launched a ballistic missile from there over a week ago. That missile test took place on January 29th, prompting an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, and a day later the White House issued a strongly worded statement putting Iran on notice. Days later, U.S. officials watched as Iran quickly cleaned up the site and prepared another missile on the same launch pad at a site located 140 miles east of Tehran. Now, in a surprising about-face, we're learning this morning that new missile has been removed from the launch pad. It's not clear why. This new satellite imagery from February 3rd, obtained exclusively by Fox News from ImageSat International and verified by U.S. officials, show Iran placed a Safir missile used to put a satellite into space. The Pentagon is concerned because this missile uses the same components as those needed for an intercontinental ballistic missile. Today, Iran's supreme leader issued a new warning to the White House, suggesting a response to President Trump this Friday, February 10th, the anniversary of Iran's revolution. It's not clear why, Jenna, Iran moved that missile from the launch pad. It could be a technical problem, or perhaps Iran is reacting to the new sanctions put on them by Washington. Jenna?
A fascinating report. More on this in a moment. Jennifer, thank you very much.
The President's executive orders on border security and immigration enforcement will enhance public safety for all of our citizens. The President's recent executive order to temporarily suspend entry for foreign nationals from 7 countries, we believe, is lawful and constitutional, and the review ordered by the President is necessary and appropriate. It will enable us to assess the adequacy and availability of information we need from all countries to adjudicate all visa applications or other benefits under our existing immigration laws, and to determine if the person seeking the benefit is, in fact, who they say they are and would not present us a threat. While some of the core tenets of this order are the subject of ongoing litigation, it is my belief that we will prevail and be able to take the steps necessary to protect our nation.
Let me say first, I agree with the policy of the executive order. It's consistent with a memo I drafted with to then candidate Trump, with Mayor Giuliani, Attorney General Mukasey, advocating a shift from a Muslim ban, which he was campaigning on, which we thought was unconstitutional, to rather an enhanced vetting process of immigrants and refugees based on risk, not religion, from high-threat areas. It's consistent with the visa waiver security bill that was signed into law by President Obama. It's consistent with the SAFE Act that passed the House with bipartisan, veto-proof majority. My concern, as you and I have talked, is how it was implemented and the execution of this order. First, lawful permanent residents with green cards were denied. Military advisors who risked their lives to help U.S. forces overseas, as you know, were denied. And students were trapped overseas with visas. Let me say I applaud you for quickly correcting what I consider to be errors by quickly granting the exception and waiver to green card holders, which went a long way to remedy, I think, this executive.
Campus attack. Northwestern University is investigating allegations of sexual assault and the use of date rape drugs at a fraternity.
CBS 2's Susanna Song is live in Evanston with what happened and what the university is now doing about it. Good morning, Susanna.
Hey, good morning, Lionel and Aaron. At the center of these allegations is the fraternity Sigma Alpha Epsilon, also known as SAE. 4 women reported they were given date rape drugs at the fraternity house on January 21st. 2 alleged they were sexually assaulted. The university sent out a campus-wide alert last night notifying all students about this incident. The fraternity, which has its national headquarters in Evanston, claims it learned about these allegations on Sunday and launched an investigation. Also last week, the university police chief received an anonymous report of another case where a female student claims she was given a date rape drug at an unnamed frat house and sexually assaulted. Well, the university's Sexual Harassment Prevention Office is now looking into all of these reports.
People talk about it, like people just know. This is like the first that I've really heard about that much use of date rape drugs on campus, so that's definitely scary. Yeah, it's like definitely a huge problem.
I think it's kind of messed up that Ariel can go to a party and like have to feel unsafe.
I think it's a problem on a lot of college campuses, so it's, you know, it's not a good problem, but it's definitely prevalent.
Sigma Alpha Epsilon believes that any form of assault or sexual misconduct by anybody, whether or not he's a brother, is unacceptable. And we won't tolerate actions from our members that are inconsistent with our mission. We've always been committed to the safety and well-being of our members and other people with whom they interact on campus.
But he went on to say social events at SAE will continue until the investigation concludes. This chapter has been in trouble with the Interfraternal Council here at Northwestern before. It was put on probation in the last year or 2. We are live at Northwestern University. Susanna Song, CBS 2 News. Aaron, Lionel.
All right, Susanna, thank you.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the nomination is confirmed.
President.
Majority Leader.
I move to reconsider the vote on the nomination.
Question is on the motion to reconsider.
I move to table the motion to reconsider.
Question is on the motion to table. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. And the motion to table is agreed to.
I ask unanimous consent the mandatory quorum call be waived.
Without objection.
Showdown on Capitol Hill over President Trump's nominee for Education Secretary. While in California, a federal appeals court is expected to rule on the president's travel ban. CBS 2's Dick Brennan joins us with the latest. Dick.
Well, Mary, a very busy day on Capitol Hill. Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly just took responsibility for the quick rollout for the temporary travel ban. He said he should have delayed it. And let's take a live look at the Senate floor right now. At this hour, they vote on the confirmation of Education Secretary nominee Betsy DeVos. Vice President Pence may have to cast a tie-breaking vote to confirm her.
And therefore, I oppose the nomination.
Senate Democrats held a 24-hour protest against DeVos in a last-ditch effort to block her confirmation. Protests against DeVos popped up across the country from teacher unions and other liberal groups over her support of charter schools and school vouchers. But Republicans argue DeVos will shake things up.
She brings with her a fresh set of eyes.
Country! Our country! In the meantime, the battle over the temporary travel ban is playing out in court. The Trump administration wants a San Francisco-based appeals court to uphold the policy, blocking refugees from 7 Muslim-majority countries from entering the U.S. The policy is now on hold. President Trump defended the plan this morning.
ISIS said, we are going to infiltrate the United States and other countries through the migration. And then we're not allowed to be tough on the people coming in? Explain that one.
The Justice Department in court papers last night argued the executive action was within Mr. Trump's authority, authorized by an act of Congress and pursuant to the president's exclusive power as commander-in-chief. Lawyers for 2 states urged the appeals court not to reinstate Mr. Trump's ban, saying in court briefs the ban would unleash chaos again, separating families, stranding our university students and faculty, and barring travel. It's possible this case will go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Hopefully it doesn't have to. It's common sense. You know, some things are law, and I'm all in favor of that. And some things are common sense. This is common sense.
Now, the decision from the appeals court could come immediately or in a day or two. This is just one case. A federal appeals court in Boston upheld the ban on Friday. If different courts reach different decisions, that makes it more likely the case will go to the U.S. Supreme Court. Chris and Mary.
Flipping story. As I walk over to the ABC 15 live desk, I want to let you know we are just now getting brand new information on this situation after a man was found stabbed to death outside of a home. Nohelani Graf just got updated from police officers. She was the first reporter there. Nohe, what are you learning?
So, Chris, important information about a suspect. Police want everybody to know they do not believe that the general public at large is in danger here. They do have a person of interest that they are looking for, and they're also heading to another apartment to talk to someone that could provide more information. The video that you're looking at now, big piece of evidence that they just took away within the last hour. They towed a van out of here, and in front of that van is where a man's body was found stabbed. We've also learned the moments leading up to the call to 911, there were several witnesses out here and they called for help when they heard some sort of a fight happening in the parking lot in front of an apartment complex and a home near McKellips and Country Clubs roads. Now, back here live, we don't know how many people were involved in the stabbing. We just know that that man, by the time that firefighters, paramedics showed up, the man was dead in the parking lot. But again, they do not believe that the suspect who's out there is a danger to anyone else. They do believe this is an isolated incident. I'm live in Mesa. Nohelani Graf, ABC 15 News.